So, good day everyone. I'm Micah Juliana A. Manzano from ABM6, and I am here today to present to you all about the social entrepreneurship. So, before we further define what social entrepreneurship is, let us first discuss the terms that are interlinked and interconnected with the term social entrepreneurship. So, first, human capital and teamwork. This may refer to the labor that all the employees and all the part of a business contributes to the company itself. This may this may pertain to their physical labor or their monetary contribution and such. Next, organizational capital, leadership. We do know that leadership is very important in our organization, for this is what gives a proper flow for the company itself to work. This is where the chain of command takes place. We do know that chain of command is very important for this would allow a certain employee know um, who is or her superior is. Next will be the social problems. Social problems may also referred to as the economic problems where the business is a part of. For example, um, it may the economic of the company where it belongs may have a low GDP or a low GNP. So this is where the social problem takes place, because the problem in the economy can directly affect the business itself and vice versa. Next will be the social values. So social values, these are the norms, taboos, and other traits that a company or the members of the company can adopt because of its environment, because of the society that it belongs in. Next will be the society and social responsibility. As previously discussed in other chapters and in other lessons, uh, CSR or corporate social responsibility pertains to how a certain organization or a company in specific could do different kinds of ways, activities, and such in order for them to contribute to the society that they belong in. Aside from making a profit, another responsibility or another aim of all the companies is to provide a help or an aid to the community that it belongs, because it is very important to make sure that they are doing their part as or they're doing their role as part of the community. And last will be social change. As we all know, there is nothing constant in this world except change. Thus, the social change may have a direct proportional effect to social entrepreneurship. May it be the change of preference of the customers, or the change in the trends in the lifestyle of the people in that society will have a direct effect in the social entrepreneurship. Okay, so from these insights, we can say that there are two forms of entrepreneurs. First is the business entrepreneur, while the second one is the social entrepreneur. Let us first discuss the business entrepreneur. So, as a summary of what is written here in the presentation, we could say that the biggest difference between the two is that business entrepreneur is more unfocused with the financial gain of its business, meaning it considers profit, or usually for personal gain, as the end product of creativity, innovation, and risk taking. Also, the bottom line may be to maximize profits or shareholder wealth, or to build an ongoing, respected entity that provides value to customers and meaningful work to employees. Also, they have higher levels of self interest because they create or they innovate a certain product or they start a business for their personal reasons. Also, they have these lower levels of social conscience compared to the social entrepreneur because they are more likely to consider their own person their personal brought outs. On the other hand, the social entrepreneur can be said as motivated by social gain because uh, a social entrepreneur is driven by a passion to deliver positive change to others and to the society at large. More than concerned for personal welfare, a social entrepreneur is concerned with improving the condition of the community, and more than personal financial gain, a social entrepreneur is delighted in communal and social gains, which results to lower levels of self-interest and higher levels of social conscience. It can be explained that the social entrepreneur usually recognizes socio-economic problems such as poor people being marginalized and excluded, inequalities resulting from unfair trade practices and lack of equal educational opportunities, healthcare problems, and environmental problems, among others. This being said, this may result to why the social entrepreneurs have higher levels of risk taking because they are doing this innovation for a greater purpose, which is for the betterment of the community at large. That being said, we can now define social entrepreneurship as a process by which citizens build or transform institutions to advance solutions to social problems such as poverty, illness, illiteracy, environmental destruction, human rights abuses, and corruption in order to make life better for many. Also, it can relate to many business forms but fundamentally exists as a model that organizations are able to use in pursuit of goals directed towards building value for the society within which they are embedded. Also, it can be used to describe the discovery and sustainable exploitation of opportunities to create social and environmental benefits. Social entrepreneurs do not only have to identify opportunities for social change, but also must master the resources necessary to turn these opportunities into a reality. A social entrepreneur is someone who works in an entrepreneurial manner but for public or social benefit, rather than simply to make money. Social entrepreneurs may work in ethical businesses, governmental or public bodies, or the voluntary and community sector. A great example of a social entrepreneur will be the worldwide known Muhammad Yunus. So Yunus was born in 1940 in Bangladesh. He is an economics professor educated in the United States, but he decided to return to Bangladesh in order to help in his country's development process. Yunus was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007 for the success of the Grameen Bank. Now, what is Grameen Bank? According to Muhammad Yunus, Grameen Bank was formed as an institution owned by its borrower members who are poor women. Through its unique decision-making process, Grameen Bank has given millions of women the means to emerge from the shadows in a male-dominated society and to make something of themselves. So, how can Grameen Bank ensure that borrowers without collateral or security would pay their loans? Simply, those who intend to borrow must undergo an extensive process of consciousness-raising seminars, group formations, and intensive trainings. In the consciousness-raising sessions, the potential borrowers eventually own Grameen's 16-point agenda concerning empowerment of women, cooperation, and participation. Borrowers do not work individually. They form groups that embrace interdependence and correspondability. Peer pressure and group support become instrumental for an almost 100% repayment rate of Grameen creditors. Now, Muhammad Yunus is also known for being the author of the two Nobel Peace Prize selling book of the New York Times bestseller. First is The Banker to the Poor, which is about the micro-lending and the battle against world poverty. And the second one will be The Creating a World Without Poverty, which is about social business and the future of capitalism. These books also talk about his insights on capitalism, social business, and social entrepreneurship. He documented the beginnings, operation, and success of this innovative business concept and practice. Now, going back to Grameen Bank, for him, the investment of Grameen Bank will be the poor women are given a loan to start an income generating activity, meaning Grameen Bank allows the poor women of Bangladesh to borrow money from them in order for them to start up a business that will benefit the entire community. Next, the refund. From profits earned, the women pay back the loan with a small interest. Unlike the banks that we have now here in the Philippines, Grameen Bank provides a smaller interest in order for the poor women of Bangladesh be able to pay the money that they borrowed. For the reinvestment, with the interest earned on the loan, the bank can give loans to more people. Meaning, because let's say the first batch of the poor women of Bangladesh were able to pay back the investment that they borrowed. This payment from the investment will be now borrowed by the next batch or the latter batches of the other women of Bangladesh. Now, the local development, loans, saving accounts, pension, education, empowerment of women, distribution of dividends to the poor as shareholders. This would sum up the, we can say, the social responsibility that the Grameen Bank promotes or creates in the Bangladesh community. The main, you can say, the main aim of the Grameen Bank is to provide microloans and banking services to the poor. So, instead of making the poor people more poor, they make the poor people rich, or maybe not in the monetary sense, but they allow the poor people to help the other people of the community. Another example of a social entrepreneur would be Mr. Bill Drayton of the Ashoka Foundation. So, Ashoka Foundation is a global movement and community of entrepreneurs that was established in 1980 by Mr. William Bill Drayton, an American management consultant. He named it after Ashoka, an emperor from India who was believed to be ruthless and authoritarian, but who eventually became a civic-minded, democratic, and benevolent leader after he was converted to Buddhism. So, according to Bill Drayton, social entrepreneurs are not content just to give the fish or teach how to fish. They will not rest until they have revolutionized the fishing industry. So what does this mean? I believe that Bill Drayton wants to say is that being a social entrepreneur, you don't just teach people, you don't just provide them the information that they need in order to succeed or in order for them to succeed. What you need, what social entrepreneurs do is they hone the people, they hone other citizens to be part of this nation building innovation that they do, so that future generations can see the innovation and the changes that is happening as time passes by. Now, moving forward to Ashoka Foundation. Ashoka Foundation have achieved social impact at national and international levels. Ashoka also established a global academy for social entrepreneurship with the following aims: representation, consultation, linkage, connection, and global networking. Some of the prominent members of the Global Academy are Muhammad Yunus, Bill Drayton, and Peter Eigen. Furthermore, Ashoka has a Changemaker website. This Changemakers community convenes and connects high potential changemakers and their ideas and resources through the power of collaborative competitions and partner networks. In the present time, there is Ashoka Philippines already, and they believe that by identifying and supporting the best and most effective ideas on the ground, Ashoka Foundation will help maintain the strength and vibrancy of the Philippine citizen sector. With the increased involvement of business and social issues, Ashoka is also uniquely poised to bring the two sectors together towards true innovation and social change for the company, or for the country rather. Ashoka Foundation Philippines would like to help harness the passion, experience, and expertise of these individuals by providing critical financial support and welcoming them into a global fellowship of over 3,000 social entrepreneurs from more than 70 countries. This being stated, I firmly believe that this is a very great opportunity for the Philippines in order for the other states and the other countries to see Philippines as an emerging country that also has this passion, this expertise that can make us also globally competitive in different industries. Now, aside from the aforementioned organizations, we also have other well-known social entrepreneurship organization that had created a big change in the industry. First will be the Echoing Green. For the Echoing Green, founder, Mr. Mahak Ayen, he envisions a South Sudan of peace in which no child has to go to a refugee camp to receive education. Education Bridge is our first step towards that mission. This one is very enlightening because how can be today's generation be the hope of the future if they don't receive the education that they need in order for them to become the leaders of the next years, right? So Echoing Green has a very beautiful aim with the children. It's with the children being its focus. Another one will be the Schwab Foundation by Mr. Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the Schwab Foundation and the World Economic Forum as well. For him, the biggest global issue is the continued erosion of trust. So trust, big word, right? Trust. So being real, we do know that because of all the tragedy, because of the dilemmas and the catastrophe that is happening in countries right now, not just in the Philippines but all over the world, the trust of the citizens of a certain country to the government is becoming less and less every now and then. Maybe because the people think that the government is incapable or that the government is not doing its best in order for them to reach the people who are in need. So for Schwab Foundation, the biggest global issue will be the erosion of trust. So this trust needs to be rebuilt again and again in order for the people of the country to believe to the government of the state. Next will be Jeff Skoll, the foundation of Skoll Foundation. For him, changing the world is a team sport. Changing the world is a team sport. Very beautiful. Why? Because um, rebuilding the universe or rebuilding the world must be done hand in hand. With that being said, all people, may it be of different nation, of different culture, of different race, we shall give our contribution, our very own contribution, in order for us to help change the world, in order for us to give the future generation a better place to live in, a better world to see. Because the Supreme Being created this world for us to take good care of. That's why we are the heralds of the world. We are the heralds of the environment. We are the heralds of the entire universe. That's why we are here. It is our main task to change the world and make it as beautiful, as great as it was before. Now, let us go local. Gawad Kalinga. So Gawad Kalinga is a future full of hope. Why is that so? So Gawad Kalinga in the Philippines, social entrepreneurship has also taken a root. GKDF, or Gawad Kalinga Development Foundation, is probably the most popular social entrepreneurship movement in the Philippines today. Gawad is a Tagalog word which literally means give, and Kalinga literally means care or concern. Thus, Gawad Kalinga is to give care. So, as the vision of GK states, Gawad Kalinga is building a nation empowered by people with faith and patriotism, a nation made up of caring and sharing communities dedicated to eradicate poverty and restore human dignity. On the other hand, the very mission of Gawad Kalinga is to end poverty for 5 million families by 2024. So that's what, 6 years from now? So, who is the founder of Gawad Kalinga? So, it is Mr. Antonio Tony Miloto, who was born and raised in Bacolod City, Negros Occidental. So, he graduated a bachelor degree in economics and was employed at Procter & Gamble, or P&G. And now he is so he joined the religious organization of Couples for Christ when he got married. So for Mr. Tony Miloto, nation building is very important. So here we can see that he has done a lot of social works for the Filipino men. He and his foundation, the Gawad Kalinga Development Foundation, has started a lot of nation building activities in order to promote stability, in order to promote human dignity, and of course to revive the sense of bayanihan in the Philippines, because bayanihan is the very sense of the Filipino living, because we do know, we as Filipinos, we don't just live for ourselves. We live for the people of the community. We live for the people that surrounds us. So some of the activities of Gawad Kalinga are refurbish of schools, spending time with kids in the refugee camps, being part of disaster preparedness workshops, sports activity in the community, health mission, which is very important, especially for the aged people and the young ones also. Cleanup drive to promote cleanliness and reservedness of the environment, building homes for the less fortunate, Kusina Kalinga Kitchen Crew, which provides this pagbibigay ng food to the less fortunate, especially sa mga nasa mga resettlements areas and such. Also, they also create this farm building to to for the Philippines environment to become as lively as it used to before all the pollutions came. So on this slide, you can see the company or organization that consumers see as socially responsible. So some of the common companies here are the Microsoft, Google, Target, Costco, Trader Joe's, Ben and Jerry's, P&G or Procter and Gamble, and GE, and also Apple, Tom's, the shoe brand, and of course Starbucks. Now, to end this presentation, let us um, summarize what is social innovation or how can we generate social innovation. So, this is part of the call for public awareness because, just like what I've stated earlier, we cannot change the world or we cannot rebuild this world if we're not going to do it hand in hand. So we need the cooperation or the full unity from everyone or from every people in the world. So although social entrepreneurship has already blossomed through the years, many people remain unaware of its nature, operations, and overall value for the society. The work of social entrepreneurs relatively remains hidden from public awareness. So, this is why we need the call for public awareness. And this may seem a challenge this may seem as a challenge for social entrepreneurship. Why? Because we need to identify, connect, collaborate, and act. So, first, identify. We need to seek, we need to name what the real problem is. Second, we need to connect connect with the connect with the entire community. This means that it shouldn't be just a single person who knows the problem. Spread it along the entire community in order for them to help out also. Now, next, act. Act, act, act. Do not act when it's too late. Act now. Why? Because we don't need to wait for the future generation to become to see the dilemma and the catastrophe that we are having right now. So we should start doing our part now as members of the society. Do not be afraid of mistakes. Done is better than perfect, and practice work in progress. Next will be collaborate. Collaboration, this is where the term community could be divided into common unity. We need to be united with everyone. We need to work hand in hand in order for us to create a world wherein social entrepreneurs' innovation are being seen by everyone and that people are aware that social responsibility of the businesses are not just part of its PR activity. Thus, it is created in order to make the world or or in a smaller scale make the society that it belongs with a better place for the future generation. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you so much and have a nice day. So, good day everyone. I'm Micah Juliana A. Montano from ABM 6 and I am here today to present